What's going on? What are you all saying? I'm going to quickly bang out a little Q&A because last one I did, it banged. But first, let me give you a little cheeky update. Nothing too serious. Anyway, last week I had 5 different shoots. That's why no upload this week, but this is going to bang, so who cares? Last week I went to Monaco and I was filming out the side of a helicopter. I've never been in a helicopter before, and that was a sick experience, mate. And yesterday, I just got back from Manchester, and the day before I was in Leeds for 2 days. Look, what are these saying, mate? How naughty are they? Anyway, there's this shop in Leeds that I just get so gassed about. Vintage shop, tenner, mate, tenner. You having a laugh? Our beef is gonna pop off next year, geez. Not a problem. Right, hold on. Let's get on with this Q&A. Let's keep these sweet and simple, lads and girls. We're only here for a bit of fun, aren't we? Sam Sparks, my G. Hi James, how do you get on with the Leatherman at the airports? Are they okay taking it with a knife and everything? No, they ain't okay with it. You can't take your Leatherman in your hand luggage, but you can bang it down in the hold. As long as it ain't in your hand luggage and you ain't got like a knife and tools in your hand luggage, you're fine. But yeah, mate, just chuck it in your hold luggage and it's calm when you get there. Which camera do you mount to your helmet? This is in one of the Vietnam Chronicles videos. I was using the Jawbreaker rig, and if you go back about 10 videos, you'll see my video on how to do a POV shot. That will give you everything you need to know, and I'm not charging you for that. Should have probably sold that idea, but oh well. Hey man, are you still in Vietnam? No. I'm in a heated mental debate about the GH5 and the A7S. Which one should I get? It don't really matter. A camera is just a tool to tell your story, and that's all it is. Yes, you might need a certain camera if it's got a specific little function that you may need. For example, if you want extra slow motion, you might want to get the 180 frames that you get out of the GH5 compared to the 120 that you get out of the A7. As well, you might want a full frame sensor so you can get a bit more shallow depth of field like the A7 has compared to like the micro 4/3 that the GH5 has. There's just like little things you have to weigh up, but end of the day, it's just a tool, mate, so don't get gassed about it. Hi James, would you mind doing a video about colour grading? I reckon my colour grading is probably my weakest area of filmmaking, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the one thing that I really want to get better at, and I don't want to put out a video explaining how I do my colour grading, because I just think mine's crap. I do think my colour grading's got better recently, but it's something I need to develop. Like, I really need to get better at my colour grading. And when I do feel like I've really got colour grading to a T, that's when I'll bang out a video to you lot. Hi James, I was wondering what your input would be on the Cane TV Profit versus the Crane 2. I'm not sure what one I should get. Look mate, end of the day, I'm obviously gonna say get the Crane, because I've used it for like a year, and then I've just got the Crane 2, and the Crane 2 is just next level. I've obviously spoke with the guys at Zhiyun, and I know their customer service. I know how well they've treated me. I know how well they go about dealing with their products and things like that. And I know that that company and that service, and more importantly, the product is absolutely incredible. So look, end of the day, I know that Zhiyun are sick, so why would I not recommend Zhiyun? I know they're good, their prices are pretty decent, they're just a sick gimbal, mate. I'll basically just chuck that thing off cliffs. I might as well bang a grenade inside it, it just don't want to die. So yeah, answer to that question, the Crane 2 or the Crane? Let me answer this one while we're on this subject. Do you think it's still worth getting the Crane V2 over the Crane 2? Absolutely. Look, I definitely still think it's worth getting the Crane V2, and that's because of the size and the weight of the thing. The Crane 2 is an absolute beast, and it's miles ahead of the Crane 1 and Crane V2 in terms of what it delivers. But the Crane 2, I would say, is much more of a higher level production bit of kit, whereas the Crane 1 and the Crane V2 isn't as high production, but the size and the weight of it is just what basically makes it, for me, the best travel gimbal in the world, pretty much. The thing is so compact and small, and I know I can lob it about and it ain't gonna break. And check out how I am taking my crane. There's the Zhiyun crane on there, you see it? Strapped to the front of the bike, so if I ever need it. My one looks like it's just come out of World War II, and it still does absolute bits. The Crane 2 I'm going to be using specifically for my high level productions, because I want that extra bit of production value on them productions. Whereas if I go on more like international travel vlog type trips, then I'll probably end up taking my Crane 1, because I know it still performs up to that kind of standard, but in a much smaller bit of kit. It's definitely a decent investment still. So yeah, man, gas. How do you go about licensing your songs, particularly on Vimeo and professionally? Well, I think I said this one before. I basically get all of my licensing tracks, especially if they're for clients, off of a website called The Music Bed. I think they've got the best tracks. You can really like kind of whittle it down to the ones that you want on their like menu system and all that. I think it's got the best selection of cinematic tracks out there. There's also a couple of others like Audio Jungle's all right. Shutterstock is pretty pants, but it's still all right. Ben's Sound I've used a couple of times for like some more corporate stuff. But yeah, look, end of the day, the Music Bed's the best. Yes, it's a bit pricey, but if you're doing productions for clients, they're paying for the licensing. That's how it works. So yeah, the Music Bed, that's the one I use. Any advice on using the Phantom 4? Turn it on, fly it. What ND filters do you use for your Mavic? The ND, what ones do I use? I use the Polar Pro Cine filters, mate, and they're pretty sick. I've done a video on that on my Ibiza video, actually, so if you want to find out what they're like, go to the Ibiza video, you'll see. What settings do you film in when you're moving about, vlogging, full, manual, aperture priority, manual or autofocus? Right, when I'm vlogging, when I'm holding the camera kind of like this, yeah, I put my settings at shutter priority. Now that makes sure that I keep my shutter at 1/50th of a second, because that's kind of what gives that nice cinematic motion blur instead of it being all choppy and all amateur and that. So I keep mine in shutter priority. I then put my ISO at auto, so if I do go into a low light situation and my aperture's all the way down, which on this lens is only at 4.5, so it's not that fast, my ISO then compensates. I think I've set my limit at that to like 3200, so when it gets to that, it won't go any further. So yeah, they're my vlogging settings. If this guy stops overexposing everything, he'll be a beast. Oh no, I've got haters. Haters. Do you have a video on how to expose properly for the Sony a7S II? No, because I clearly can't do it. Amazing vlog. At 12 minutes, was that a kid throwing a rock at the drone? It bloody looks like it, doesn't it? If any of you know who this geezer is, tell him I'm coming. What's the bag you have for your drone batteries? Right, the bags that I have for my drone batteries are called LiPo bags. You should bang all of your drone batteries in a LiPo bag if you can, because it's going to stop them from exploding, catching your house on fire, potentially killing your No, come on, that'll do. Anyway, look, you need to have your drone batteries in a LiPo bag if you're going on a plane or something like that, because in the airports, they'll check if you've got a LiPo bag. They don't always do it, but if you've got one, it's a bit of peace of mind for you, because if they ask, you can go, look, mate, I've put it in a LiPo bag. At least I'm doing a bit, all right? And then they'll let you on. So yeah, not a problem. Can you check your Zhiyun crane with the Canon 24-105? What am I, a bloody production house? Where am I going to get one of them from? Is it possible to make time lapses with the app on the Zhiyun crane? Yes, that's something I want to talk about, because I'm going to be doing a video on this subject next couple of weeks. I just worked out how to use the time-lapse app on the Zhiyun crane, so you can actually do like motion time-lapses now without having to buy like a fat rig, and you can do it all on the crane. So you've got a gimbal and a motion time-lapse thing all in one. Hold on. I like your watch. Could you send me a link to buy one exactly like yours? Mate, this thing, yeah, all of me mates take the piss out of me. It's a Seconda, but yes, it does look like a Rolly Datejust. One of my mates is a jeweller and I get so much stick for this, but I love this thing. It's naughty. Love the B-roll. All of the attention was because of the outfit, maybe? What's going on? Basically, possibly. So obviously I was in India like 2-3 weeks ago. I was getting so much attention from people, and I thought it was because I had like a big fat gimbal with a fat off camera on the end, and all of these people were just like, what is that? Because it's not that popular in India. But anyway, someone pointed out that it could have possibly been my outfit. It's true. Could have been. Maybe I'll try and be a bit less conspicuous. Is that the right word? Don't think it is. Oh well. Zeno, my G, I've spoke to you a couple of times on the old DM. Can't you make a meet-up in Switzerland? Bruv. Soon. PAL or NTSC? Now, in the UK, well, back in the day when everything was TV, but now it's all YouTube, isn't it? Back in the day, in the UK, you'd shoot in PAL, which is 25 frames a second, and in the US, it was NTSC. Now, if you're doing anything to broadcast on TV, if you're broadcasting it in the US, it's more than likely that you're going to want NTSC, whereas in the UK, PAL, mate. PAL ting. So yeah, I shoot PAL. What laptop are you using to edit? Now, I used to edit on this, crap. Now I edit on a Dell. I just bought myself a Dell XPS 159560 or something. Naughty little machine. It was much, much better than this. This was crap, mate. End of the day, look, if I can give you a tiny bit of advice, I'd probably say, if you're editing on Final Cut, get yourself a Mac. If you're shooting on Premiere Pro, mate, PC, Windows. The two bits of software are so conflicting, just get what the software works better on. And Premiere Pro works a lot better on Windows and Final Cut works a lot better on Mac. So, yeah. Hey, at 35 and 54 minutes, that zoom in effect, did you add that in post, shot at 4K and zoomed into 1080? Is that how you done it? This geezer is referring to the Crane 2 review I done. Anyway, these are the shots he's on about.
And all the people say
and yeah, I just pushed in post. So obviously you set your scale to 100 and then throughout the image you increase the scale. So you just set yourself a keyframe at the start, set yourself a keyframe at the end, and by the end I'm probably on about 120, maybe 110 scale, whereas at the start I was at 100. So yeah, that's all I do. Oh, and by the way, people, oh, nearly dropped my laptop. I don't ever use any presets. All of my transitions, all of my effects are completely done manually, but I just do them on my own. So when people say to me, oh mate, what preset are you using for that? I'm like, mate, I don't use them. I don't know, I just don't like them. I'd rather just make it myself. Feels a bit more like I'm engaged in the work rather than copy and pasting someone else's gear. Anyway. Do you mess around with S-curves? Notice your colours have a bit of a washed out kind of look. Yeah, of course I mess about with S-curves, everyone does. But I like to keep my grade like not too harsh. Like I try and keep it a little bit on the light side. I like my stuff high key. I just try and not make my grade too saturated too much. Other than situations like, for example, the India edit I just done. Yes, I made that super saturated. Like one of the things about India I wanted to capture was the colours. Like the colours were the main thing that I wanted to capture. So yeah, I mess about with S-curves, mate. Like I do. Think that's it, people. This was obviously a bit more of like a more chilled out, relaxed Q&A. Little bit of fun, little bit of knowledge. Not that I've got much. And for those of you that have been messaging me on the Insta, bruv, the vinyls are in. Anyway, people, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want any more questions, I'm going to bang a comment in this description box. Write a question and then I'll come back to this video next time I do a Q&A and I'll answer all them questions. Sweet? Don't forget we got that meet-up on Sunday, this Sunday coming, the 22nd, in London, Trafalgar Square, 1 PM. Be there, don't be there, calm, alright? Sweet!